I am going to prove that factory farming is not only necessary to feed the population, but it is a safe and effective way to do that. In 1900, the population was 1/4 of what it is today. Back then, everyone had some sort of a garden or grew food or raised animals to contribute to their diet. Today, less than 2% of the population grows or raises the food for the entire population. And with that, the number of animals needed has also grown exponentially. We are eating more meat, eggs, and milk. We have also eradicated the famines that we've known for the past 1,000 years. With all of this food production, we are able to create more food. Putting animals in large indoor barns keeps them safer. It keeps them safe from predators, other animals. We don't have fox and coyotes killing all the chickens because they're safe inside a barn. We keep them safe from severe weather conditions. We help prevent the spread of avian flu to the general population. We help prevent the spread of swine flu to the general population. Inside those barns, it's much easier to monitor the animals' health and the diet that they are consuming. Feeding pigs scraps and exposing them to the wildlife, what we did 60 years ago, also increased the risk of spreading trichinosis, one of the more common pork illnesses. Today we have less than 12 cases a year. Back then we had almost 400 cases a year. Being sure to feed these animals a sound diet keeps them healthier.
First, I'm going to talk about how factory farming leads to environmental hazards. And then I'm going to go over how factory farming leads to a threat to our public health. First, according to the New York Times in 2011, concentrated animal feeding operations use huge amounts of water and land, very bad, and these factory farming operations play a large role in biodiversity loss. Biodiversity loss equals extinction. They concentrate on certain animals, and so other animals, livestock animals, go away. They also contribute to greenhouse gas emissions. That's 18% of all greenhouse gas emissions just from factory farming. Nearly 40% of those are from methane, the most dangerous type of gas. The New York Times in 2011 also reported that factory farms are putting at least 21% of the world's livestock breeds out of commission. Just repeated that, sorry about that. New York Times in 2011 said livestock production is the major driver of deforestation. So 65 to 80% of all deforestation in the Amazon is because of factory farming. That's really scary. That's where we get our oxygen from. Now, as far as public health goes, in 2011, the National Institute of Health reported that factory farms are a serious threat to our public health. So our high animal fat diet means that we're more obese, that we're likely to get a heart attack because of cardiovascular disease, that we're going to get diabetes, and cancer. Oh my God, we should quit eating meat. Also in 2011, the New York Times said that 75% of the new diseases affecting humans since 1995 from animals was from animals or animal products. That's 75% of the new diseases, all because of factory farming. The book of Factory Farming in 2010 notes that when chickens are stressed, and they're all stressed on factory farms, that they have this weird bacteria that says it's more virulent. Okay, I just want to ask you, you say that animals are safe, but the New York Times from 2011 says that 75% of all new diseases affecting humans since 1999 come from animals or animal products. So how can animals really be safe? You said that animals are safe, but I have a statistics that says from the New York Times that says that 75% of the new diseases are coming from animals and animal products. That's kind of a scary statistics. What do you have to talk to counter that?
Well, I'm curious as to where the 75% is coming from. If we're talking about heart disease and those kinds of diseases that come from many different aspects, I don't know how you can just say that animals contribute to that. We know that corn-fed beef has a higher fat content, and that increases the risk of heart disease, but that's what the population is demanding. People
No, we're
want
talking about
corn-fed
diseases
beef.
that actually kills them in terms of heart disease is more of a, eat lots of hamburgers, but I'm talking about that weird one with the chicken where they get. As far as your argument about the land being a limiting resource, in World War II, people had victory gardens, and the government helped out with giving land to people, and everybody had their own garden. So I think that we should go back to everybody having to have their own garden, and container gardening is a highly effective way to grow plants. So even people in apartments can grow plants. And as far as the safety of the animals argument, I think that's specious. Farmers over-medicate with antibiotics, and I think that's why 75% of new diseases are coming from animals and animal products, as I mentioned before, from the New York Times. 21% of the world's livestock are going extinct. That's because of farmers. And so they're not taking care, otherwise they wouldn't have the extinction of livestock breeds. And remember my chicken example, which means that the Campylobacter disease is more virulent the more stressed, and if they're stressing out their chickens, they're making a disease that's worse on people. So eat less meat, grow a garden, make friends with the chicken, you'll live longer.
Land is the limiting resource for farming, and minimizing land needs keeps available ecosystems for conservation and parks and other kinds of recreation. I think what is frequently overlooked is that animal performance and efficiency is also directly related to the animal welfare, and farmers are trying to be successful, so they are going to treat the animals in a way that the animals are safe and surviving healthfully. Anything that stresses the livestock results in lowered gains, and the farmer is looking to be successful. The idea about the Campylobacter spreading is more about keeping the kitchen clean, washing your hands after handling it. It comes from the packaging, because the chicken inside the package may not even have Campylobacter on it, but it's on the package. Finally, I'd like to say that factory farming maximizes the land by consolidating all of the animals.